Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Bamboo Method podcast, Investing in the Unseen. It's a show about the day-to-day things, the small things that add up over time. Often it can go unnoticed, but over time, they make a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Today's a special episode. I'm on this side.
You're
again.
on this side.
Yay!
Yes.
Just me and
Yay!
Sid. Thanks for cheering.
Applause.
Yeah, I was cheering for myself.
Wade's excited to be here.
I'm excited to be here. I
I'm
like
excited
having
to be
conversations with you, Sam.
Yeah.
Just you and me. Usually we have a guest.
Yep.
And we love being able to interview people who walk the walk. They put in the work every day
Mm-hmm.
and for awesome results. But today, you and me are chatting.
That's right. Yeah, I'm excited about it. As we say, oftentimes the things that matter most take time.
Yep.
So thinking about that, I'm curious and we'll love to hear from you. You've been in business, out doing your own thing, entrepreneuring,
Mm-hmm.
running your own business, freelancing, owner operator for 4 years now.
Yeah, just about 4.
And
I had a part-time job for the first year and a half, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. What do you feel like have been some of the biggest lessons learned or takeaways? This could just be things that have impacted you as a person or things that you have learned to have a successful business.
Yeah. Well, first of all, successful feels like a little too big of a word. I don't know if
Hey,
I'm
do you
describing
have your
that,
part-time job yet again?
I do not have
Then
another
you're
part-time.
successful.
Thank you. So,
Yeah.
Yep. Paying rent, buying groceries.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. On work I'm doing myself.
Yeah.
Should be stated that you are also an entrepreneur. But we did kind of want to start the conversation off with my experience. It is funny talking about entrepreneurship on the podcast because my gut reaction is I don't know anything about entrepreneurship. And I don't know what I'm doing. Even me being self-deprecating just now, I'm like, I'm not successful.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, I have been doing it for a few years at this point, and I am buying groceries and paying rent. So it's like I have to be experiencing some amount of success. And so, it's just so funny, like thinking about the Bamboo Method. It can be hard to put a finger on exactly what that is. It can feel day in, day out, looking back, kind of like, what have I been doing? And so upon some reflection, I think the first thing I'd say to that would be saying yes a lot. I've had a couple clients I wish I didn't say yes to, but also I learned a lot from that. And so I think being able to say yes as much as I could early on has given me a lot of opportunities to make connections, learn a lot. I know on a previous podcast, I mentioned my major audio mistake I made at one point in my career. I won't go into that again, but basically, you don't learn something like that. You only make that mistake once.
Yeah.
And so, I think and I wouldn't have made that mistake. I wouldn't have learned from that if I didn't say yes to the things that I did to get to that point.
Yeah.
Even the clients that I feel like were bad clients, or maybe it was a bad experience, a lot of that came back to me. I didn't communicate very well on the front end. And I think a lot of the bad experience, bad client, whatever, probably could have been avoided if I was more clear on the front end. I know we talked a lot about clarity in a previous episode too, but saying yes to a lot of things, saying yes to you, originally,
Sure.
waking me up from my nap in college
Yeah.
and saying, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? And me just saying, what? I just woke up from a nap. But that was a yes in that moment that I was like, I'm willing to learn from you and take a chance and learn how a camera works. But really learning about storytelling, learning about human connection, saying yes to other directors. I've been on set with a couple other people and everyone does it differently.
Yeah.
And so, saying yes has been kind of the avenue to learn.
Yeah.
And one of the best parts about being an entrepreneur, owning your own business, is that you get paid to learn. Instead of like, I graduated from college and got a couple $1,000s in debt for all the stuff I learned. And, I'm super grateful for my college experience and I would do it all over again. But, owning a business, it's super stressful. And there are days that I wish I got a paycheck every 2 weeks, but in the end, I am just learning still. But can be a little more painful learning, like the audio mistake. but I'm getting paid to learn.
Yeah.
And that's pretty awesome.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think entrepreneurship it can be easy to, like, I'm not an entrepreneur and
Yeah.
I have this exact same feelings, I don't identify really as an entrepreneur myself. But I think it really does just boil down to like saying yes.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe not like explicitly to like a request,
Mm-hmm.
but really entrepreneurship is seeing a problem and saying yes to the, like, I will help solve that problem.
I can do something about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reality is Jim's like, I'm not sure how we're going to do it now,
Yeah.
but I'm saying yes, saying that we can get there.
Yeah.
And I think that's often what makes a good entrepreneur is the willingness to say yes before you actually know the path.
Mm-hmm.
The common phrase that I've heard about entrepreneurship is you're building the plane on your way down.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's kind of a joke, but I think there's some truth to it. Obviously, you want to know a little bit about how to fly, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not going to say jump. I'm not going to say yes to someone that says, "Can you fly this plane?" Like literally, like yeah, I'm not going to agree to that. But maybe someone saying, "I have this event. Could you take a video of it?"
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I made this graphic. Can you animate it? Yeah. How much did that cost? Oh, well, let me just think about that. And, come up with numbers. And, for the most part, I've gotten to a decent place. I feel like I'm getting paid the amount that I want to, but all of that is just a learning process and saying yes to that moment. Yeah, I think solving a problem, even for me, someone I knew had their own business and he just wanted a video about it. Asked me, is that something you do? At that point, it was not. I'd never made a video for a business. But in the moment, I mean, obviously working with you for a little while at that point, I'm like, well, Sam does that a lot. Like, I think I can get there and I can get help when needed. And that's another thing. Asking for help. That's a huge one for me as a business owner. I mean, from you, gotten tons of experience and help from you over the years, and then being able to pay it back a little bit, even like you also asking me for help too. And reaching out to people, even like thinking about lighting. I didn't know anything about lighting, but we had Ted. He's episode number 1 of the Bamboo Method. Yeah. Well, I guess episode 2. First guest on the Bamboo Method.
Yeah.
I learned a ton from him. It's like, hey, we're filming this commercial. First of all, said yes. Can you make this commercial? Yes.
Yep.
Can I do lighting? Ooh, maybe.
Yeah.
But I know a guy, right? Yeah. Like, I'm going to ask Ted. Ted, can you do lighting? And then he does an amazing job. And so I think, not doing it by yourself. There are a few projects I did that looking back on, it's like, man, I should have just asked for help. Like we got there and it all turned out. But if I had just kind of got over myself a little bit, like it's okay that I don't know how to do everything, would have been better.
Yeah.
I would have been more proud of the work we did. Not to say that I wasn't, but yeah, anyway, ask for help. That's another big takeaway. And that's something that I need to do more still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some of the scariest yeses that you felt like, oh boy, what did I just say yes to?
Yeah. I mentioned like animating a graphic. I did one of the biggest projects I've worked on was a series of animated ads. And at the time I had never done anything to that scale. And by scale, I mean just quantity. Like I think, there are 6 different graphics, and every single one of those graphics had 5 or 6 sizes. So, in the end, I'm making like 30 to 40 different animated graphics. And, in that moment, I said yes to, can you do that? Yeah. And then it's, okay, how much does that cost? It's like, okay, wow. And then I give a number. He's like, great, let's do it. Yeah. It's so funny how like, we talk about this a lot. It's always a roller coaster of pricing is such a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And the part-time job I had for a while was with a guy named Dave who has a shelving business, his own business. And I learned a lot from him as an entrepreneur. And he told me that pricing is the hardest thing you'll do as an entrepreneur. Owning your own business, like it's just so challenging. And I definitely agree that that's got to be one of the most challenging. Anyway, so you get to the point where you come up with a number, you send the quote off, and it's like, I hope that makes sense. I don't know. And I don't know what's scarier, if they say no or if they say yes.
Right.
Yeah. It's like if they say no, that's a huge bummer. I missed out on an opportunity, work, etc. But it says yes, I have to do that
Now
now.
you gotta go do it.
Yeah. So sent the number off. He said, great, let's do it. And I just had to start working on it. And that was scary. That's one of the scariest ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it went well, right?
Yeah, it went really well. Yeah. Super fun project, great team to work with. And yeah, it's super fun.
Yeah. Guesses can be scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I can absolutely identify and have similar experiences of many projects where I said yes and I was like, I sure hope it's yes. I hope that
was I lying?
Yeah.
I don't know. Might have been lying.
Yeah.
No.
And I mean the emotional roller coaster of, okay, like what's the least amount I'm willing to do this for? But then I still have to do it. And what's what do I think it really is worth though? And what feels better? And
there's no way they're going to say yes to that.
Yeah. And then sometimes you just lobby it out there and they're like, yes. And you're like, should it have been more?
Yeah.
And it's just an emotional roller coaster, which kind of brings us to, pricing.
Sure.
Is a unique thing as an entrepreneur, as a freelancer, as a business. And I know for myself, I've had a long history of different pricing techniques and approaches. What does that look like for you now?
Yeah.
It's a leading question.
I think you can answer that as well as I can. I mean, pricing is something that we spent a lot of time on, intentionality on over the last year. And with Loon, the video production company we run, and we ultimately decided to be transparent about pricing.
Yeah.
And that journey is just starting. And so I think we'll check back in next year maybe to see how it goes. But ultimately the clarity we felt outweighed the risks. Yeah. The negative risk.
Talk about the risks. What are the risks?
Well, I mean,
and what does that mean to be transparent?
Sure. Yeah. Transparent meaning if you go on our Instagram right now, you can see how much for kinds of videos that we make cost.
Our core videos.
Yeah. Obviously we, everything can be custom. Every project is different, but many projects fall into a couple different buckets and we put a price tag on those buckets. And, risks include undercutting. Someone's like, I do branding videos too. I'm going to do it for $1 less. Obviously that's a bit of an extreme example, but they very well could. Yeah. But in that, I think just trusting that what we create is worth the price we put on it. It's worth our time. It's also worth it for the business owner or the nonprofit that video has that value. And hopefully delivers, more than that in return on that value. It's also a risk just because it's vulnerable.
Oh, yeah, it
was just super scary to put a number out there. Yeah. There's some people that have reacted and said like, really, you charge that much? Meaning like, that's so expensive. There's been other people that have said, really, you charge that much? Are you sure? Like, are you making enough money from that? Yeah. And so it's funny, the mix of reactions that, come from that. And it is fairly unique to put pricing on a service-based business. I mean, obviously a menu example is a little bit simplified, but if you go to a restaurant and there isn't a number next to the, number 4 BLT, like, I don't really know if I want to take, if I get the check and it was $45, like, that's kind of a bummer. Maybe it was worth it. Maybe it wasn't. But either way, I'd like to know on the front end, probably. And so same goes for making videos. Price it's one of the most important factors in the decision-making process. And so obviously the quality of the work is up there for super important. The experience, what the product does are all important, but ultimately how much is it going to cost me and how long is it going to take? Those are probably top of mind for the person making that decision.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had it's been interesting, the responses, even just telling people, yeah, we're going to share our pricing. Some people are like, you, what? Like, are you sure? Like, well, like, do you think that's a good idea?
Yep.
And I know I've seen a lot of people like who would just highly advise against it. Some big names in business or freelancing might miss an opportunity to have a conversation because it scares people off and you don't get to do the full sales process of, well, here's the value. Could go against some of the classic pieces of advice in the process where, talk about the value and get them hooked and then give them the price when it maybe doesn't matter so much because they really want it. But
by that point, the price won't even matter. They're going to want it so bad. Maybe that happens. Maybe, I don't think that happens to us there.
Yeah. And I think the conversation can still circle around value. It really comes down to value.
Yeah.
But I think the conversation's got to make sense all the time, not when you're just in the emotion and heat of it.
Yeah.
I think one of the conversations we had was, we don't want people to just feel excited in a moment, and that's when we'll get them to sign the contract.
Yeah, sign right now before they leave.
If you're not going to sign tomorrow too, then, I don't know. I don't feel great about that. I want you to be excited today and tomorrow and confident in the process. And we can still have a conversation, and we're hoping to open some more conversations because you know what you're getting yourself into in this conversation. And transparency is, I think, always really helpful. Everyone always has budgets. I've only really once, maybe it's a good story, maybe it's a story for another day. Only really ever once worked with someone where budget didn't come up and it didn't matter. And it's like, everyone has a budget and it matters.
Yeah.
And whether we talk about it now or later, it's going to be a factor.
It's going to come up.
If we delay it, then it's like, it's still going to, come up. It's the same thing. We had an experience, in some of the stuff we were working on with our house where it's like, we got this catalog for all this stuff and like, well, where do I find the prices? He's like, well, tell me which one you want. I'm like, price really matters in that conversation.
I don't want it I may not want it once I know the price. Yeah.
And I'm like, I can tell you right now what our budget is. And you just tell me all the ones that fit in that.
Right.
It'd be easier if I could just see it up front. And it's like, I'm not going to get swayed and fall in love with this one and just pay more money. And maybe some people will.
Sure.
But I just think that's pretty rare. And I think it's the same thing in business, that people aren't just going to get swayed because of the emotion and excitement of it all. They have a budget, and let's start there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even Chris Do comes to mind. I think we could have like a Chris Do counter for our podcast. But we aspire to be like Chris Do someday. You should look him up if you don't know about him. But chances are, if you're listening to this, you might. But
the future, Chris Do has the future
without me. Yeah. And he kind of like imitates a conversation with the client and he asks like, what's your budget? Well, no, we don't know. We don't have one. He's like, okay, so this is going to cost $100,000. Whoa, $100,000. That's way too much. He's like, okay, so you do have a budget. Yeah. Like, I'm never going to be bold enough probably to say it like that.
Yeah.
But it all goes to show, you do have a budget. I mean, maybe it's not to the cent.
Yeah.
But you probably have a range in mind. Yeah, I'd like to keep it under $5,000. I like to keep it under $2,000, whatever that is. Yep. You probably have a ballpark in mind, and it creates clarity, and it, even if it just avoids some awkwardness, I think that's worth it. It's like, if we can start the conversation off with, hey, when you work with us, they may see the pricing on Instagram, see it on our website. Before they ever even talk to us, they have a number range in their mind. They're going to be working with Loon. It's going to be probably somewhere in the $2,000 to $10,000 range. Obviously, there's projects that are smaller. There's projects that are bigger. Most projects fall somewhere in that range. And even if that's a big spread, that's helpful to know. It creates clarity and it can help the business owner make a decision, the nonprofit make a decision.
Absolutely. So let's talk about our production company, Loon Production House, which is what we operate together. Loon produces the Bamboo Method podcast. We can get back to Wade, things you've learned running a business. And you talked about saying yes is important. Asking for help is important. How do you know when to say no?
Good question. I think first thing would be capacity. I mean, if maybe it's a no for now, if you're just, for me personally, if I'm just booked full and I know I'm going to be busy for, a couple months, maybe a couple weeks, being able to say no for now, I think is important. I think saying yes to everything, yeah, I can't say yes to everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'd also say that I have to come to a no for me personally if it just isn't a project that aligns with my values, with who I am.
Mm.
There's been a couple times that I've said no to things that, yeah, could be a good project, but the business that the project would be for just doesn't align with me, and that's
Mhm.
okay. And I think, as a business owner, that's something I do have the agency to turn down and make that decision. Doesn't
Mhm.
happen very often. I think it's only happened once, actually. So that'd be another example is just alignment.
Yeah. Is there anything you wish you would have said no to besides my call 5 years ago?
Yeah, no, I'm glad I said yes. Um, yeah, there was one. I mean, I mentioned it earlier that was just kind of a rough project, but honestly, I think it did mostly boil down to me not having clear expectations on the front end. So
Mm.
I think the problem may not have been me saying yes. The problem is more me saying yes and then not creating clear expectations on what was going to actually happen when
Yeah,
the project started.
sure.
Yeah.
And it may not just be one yes, right?
Yeah.
Because now there's what are the yeses within the yes?
Yeah. What did I say yes to?
Yeah.
There may be some things in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which can create maybe a structure in where you don't have to be the one to say no.
Sure.
It's like, yes, but here's what that looks like.
Yeah.
So you create some parameters,
Sure.
and then, both parties have to be willing to move forward with those expectations that are clear and what you're comfortable with. So it's not just a yes or a no, but it's, what are you saying yes to and how far does that go?
Mm-hmm.
And how can you create a space where maybe you're not the one saying no to it?
Yeah.
That can still feel hard
Yeah.
because you feel like you got to say yes to everything, but you got to be comfortable with it and it has to be beneficial.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a handful of other projects that I think I said yes that I don't necessarily regret the initial yes, but the implications that I said yes to.
Yeah.
Maybe it was budget. Said yes to a budget that really didn't make sense,
Mhm.
but in the moment it was a bit of that scarcity mindset. If I say no,
Yeah.
that's it. I'm done.
Yep.
That was my last opportunity, and or thinking like that'll never come up again, or maybe the budget that was proposed. It's like if I don't say yes to that, that's as much as I can go. Did I ask that though? No, I could have asked like,
Yeah.
hey, for a project like this, it costs this much, and at the time, I just didn't know that first of all, but then also I don't think I had the confidence to communicate that to the client.
Mhm.
And so even though the initial yes, there's nothing wrong with it for this one project I'm thinking about, but it just ended up being way, way, way out of scope in the end. And I was just working kind of all night for a little while there, and project ended up being fine, and everyone was happy, but I said yes to things that I didn't realize saying yes to, scope wise, budget wise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Some of that is just you learn those things over time. I think that even comes back to the
Yep.
pricing side of things.
Yep.
You really can have a firm pricing that doesn't change when you know what it takes to get it done.
So at the
And-
time, yeah, like looking back, hindsight is 2020. I had no idea that was way under budget.
Yeah.
At the time, I thought that was like the most money I'd ever made on one project.
Yeah.
Which it was.
Yeah.
But
I
looking
didn't realize
back
what
on
it was going to take to get there.
it's like, yeah, I probably could. If I were to value my time the way I probably should have in the moment, probably would have cost double, maybe triple
Yeah.
of what I ended up getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
But I just didn't know that at the time.
No, yeah, you don't know. And time can feel like, squishy. It's like, I could put a little bit more time
Right.
in there.
I can
I'm
stay up
getting
a
the
little
money.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting the money that feels good and that can feel exciting. But then as you are able to refine a little bit more, you realize, oh, it's, we might have to change some structures.
Mhm.
And which, comes back to the transparency of putting all the pricing out there. It's like, you got to have firm numbers. Got to
Yeah.
be confident in that structure.
And know why you have those numbers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I know for me, there was a long time in my operations where every single time it's like different pricing because it's just like customized pricing because
Start from scratch
I'm still-
every project.
start from scratch every project. And every project might have a little bit of differences. So there's might be some of that warranted. But overall, it's just me trying to figure out what is it going to take to make this happen.
Yeah.
And honing my craft in a way to replicate it more easily and know what it's going to take to get to the finish line and get across it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it, I mean, also comes full circle to what I started with was being a business owner. I'm paid to learn. And
Yeah.
even though I got paid a lot less than maybe I should have for that, I still got paid and I still learned a lot. And
Yeah,
if I can keep that attitude about it, then it was a great experience in that way
absolutely.
that I was able to learn from it and get paid a little bit along the way.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that you brought up the word attitude.
Sure.
What kind of mindset do you feel like you have to have pretty consistently? Maybe there's multiple mindsets that help you be successful as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. I think you have to be an optimist. I mean, if I was a pessimist, I would have stopped doing this a long time ago.
Yeah.
That like I actually can do this, or there will be more work to be done. I will get more clients. So I think you have to be an optimist. I think you also have to be humble. I think many times I can feel like, oh yeah, I know all about that, and be dismissive or maybe arrogant, but I can't afford to be arrogant. You know, as a business owner, I have to continually be humble and learn and ask for help, as I mentioned
Mhm.
before. Those, I think, being humble, being an optimist, and also just think being kind, if that's a mindset. I mean, goes a long way to just be nice to someone as a
Yeah.
business owner. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a business owner, but also the people I work with are oftentimes the business owner as well. They're in the same, you know, on a similar but different journey than I am. And so I think being kind and seeing the people who are behind the businesses I'm working with
Mhm.
goes a long way into the mindset of being an entrepreneur for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be so easy to have different expectations, sometimes higher, sometimes lower for
Sure.
other people. It's like, I want you to have your crap together.
Yeah.
It's okay if I don't. Or
Yeah.
on the flip side, it's like we can be really hard on ourselves and just not on other people.
Yeah.
We think, you know, they're okay, they've arrived, and I'm just like stuck in my crap trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
all that to say that, like being kind and acknowledging that they're in the same, a lot of us are all in the same boat. We're all just figuring it out. We're all just saying yes and solving problems.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big deal. And being able to see each other in those perspectives goes a long way.
Definitely.
Yeah. Being an entrepreneur is definitely an investment, I think, in our own future, but also just the future of our communities and the people around us.
Yeah.
And I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's a necessary thing. I just always have a lot of admiration for people who say yes and take those risks, take those jumps, because it's truly what we need. That's where innovation comes from, solving new problems and better ways to do life, and where we can really just like add more value. One of the things I
Mhm.
talk about with my kids is like, find a way to add value to the people around you and you'll be successful.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the saying yes is. I'm just going to bring more value. So
Yeah.
Love that.
Agreed.
You're crushing it.
Thanks.
I'll,
You too.
as a biased,
Yeah.
not so much of just a bystander, but working with you, crushing it. So I think there's a lot of good stuff unsaid about the 4 years that you've what you've done and where you're at. And I know for me, just being able to be next to you, excited about the 4 and many more years ahead.
4D.
4D.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. We really appreciate all of our listeners, the time that you spend. If you haven't watched, go check out the videos. If you haven't checked out our Patreon, it's a way that you can listen to a little bit more content. You can also support us. This is something we love to do, but also is something that we put time and energy into. And so it's a way that you can support this if you enjoy it. And there's a way there to subscribe to our Patreon and give some support for what we're doing here. And we will see you at our next episode. This has been the Bamboo Method Podcast, Investing in the Unseen.
Thanks for listening. If you like the show, give us a follow wherever you're tuning in. It really helps us out. To see more, check out the links in the description and follow us on Instagram.